about collecting as an investment, like are collectibles an investment? To give you a little bit of background, my name is Ren. I have been investing in the stock market since 2018, and I have been a collector since 2016, but I've been on and off. Collecting is one of my really massive hobbies that I don't share a lot about on this specific channel because I try to focus more on the financial side of everything. But today I wanted to do a deep dive into the financial side of collectibles to see if those would be a good alternate investment to stocks, cryptocurrency, and precious metals. So, we are going to be talking about that today. I actually left my notes downstairs, which is annoying, so I'm gonna have to kind of go off script for a second, and I'm actually might go grab those real quick because I need my notes. But I'll be back in a second, so just stay for a second. Okay, sorry. I had to grab some notes, guys. I'm back. So yeah, my story starts in 2016 for at least collecting. I don't really share a lot about collecting, so I started collecting Pokemon trading cards and like trading cards in 2016. After every single like sports event, we would buy a pack of cards from like whatever store was close, and I'd open them up and see what I got inside there, and I'll just throw them into my collection. So I've been collecting for a very long time, but mostly we're going to talk about the different levels of collecting because it kind of is a mindset to become an investment. Okay, so I'll share whatever you guys want. We can do a Q&A afterwards, but I'm just going to go through some bullet points that I have written down here and like what I want to talk about. So, I want to talk about the mindset behind collecting versus investing cuz the mindset is really what determines if you are a collector or investor. I did not see your email, Funko Fun. I can look at it in a second, probably after the stream though. So the first level, I would say, of collecting, okay, or investing and making collectibles an investment would be you're buying just to profit, okay? So some people buy collectible products just to make a profit and just to earn some extra money on the side. And basically, it is like they're just buying to make money, right? They don't have any connection to the collectible. They don't really care as long as you're profiting and you can sell it to another collector. This is the level one of collecting, I'd say. And most of these collectors, as I said, they don't really care about actually collecting. They just kind of want the money, and that's okay. And that is fine with a lot of people. Like, that can be somebody's career or like job. Like, shop owners do that. Like, a lot of people do that, and that's a-okay. The next level to collecting is you're actually a collector. You're the only one in the stream. That's crazy, Luke. Um, yeah, so basically you're the only one, right? Dude, what? What? I'm trying to share something here. So the basic of level 2 is you like collecting. Yeah, Funko Fun is here. A lot of people are here. The idea of collecting, you enjoy it and you kind of know the market, right? And you collect because you like it. And you're willing to sell if you can get something better or rarer, but you don't necessarily want to sell. So you like want to buy for yourself and like your own collection. That's the second level of collecting, okay? Yeah, that's a stack collector. Yeah, in coins and collectibles, some people like they'll buy some rare silver coins because they like the collectible, or sometimes they'll just want to buy coins so they can make money. That is what a stack collector is. Collectibles can come in the form of silver, like limited edition coins. Yes, some some silver is collectible, silver and gold coins. And I'll go into different types of collectibles later in the stream, but I'm just trying to get through a little basic synopsis of collecting so that people can kind of understand it who don't do it as much or like are on the fence of being a collector and an investor. So this second phase is where a lot of people are. I feel like some people, they buy stuff to just sell, and then they fall in love with their item and they want to keep it, or they just love their collection enough and it brings them joy that when the time comes that they feel like moving it and they want to upgrade their collection, they do it and they're willing to sell. That is a good place to be in collecting, especially from a financial sense, because if you have too much of a connection to your stuff, you can't get the money out of it. You will never liquidate and you'll never actually get the money out. So if you're trying to go for a more financial sense in collecting, the second level is probably where you want to be, and it's the most healthy. Okay, level 3 of collecting is the very sentimental collectible items that you will never, ever, ever sell. Um, these are the items that you get from your grandparents or that have been passed down from generations, and they mean a lot to you, so you're not selling them no matter what the value is. Like if the value was $1,000, that item would still just be priceless to me. That is level 3. It's collectibles that you don't want to sell, that are going to stay in your collection forever, or like collectibles that you've wanted your whole life and you just got. You're never going to sell them until you die unless something crazy happened, right? Like if there was an emergency and you had to like actually get something, then at that point you would sell that collectible, right? That's level 3. So with these different levels, here are some different types of collectibles I'm going to talk about. I have been collecting a lot of cards, so I'm going to show off all the things I collect. Like I'm not going to show like my whole collection, I'm just going to show some. This is Pokemon cards, right? Pokemon is a very big, popular collectible, and it's been around for a very long time. So that is a good investment overall. I'll go into how collectibles like go up and down in price after I just show some different types of collectibles. And then let's see, what else do I have on my desk here? Sports cards, okay? You don't understand Pokemon cards? It's okay. I'm gonna go into all of the details about just like why collectibles move and like what they are after I just show off some different types. And then I have Funko Pops right here. This is like action figure kind of things. So action figures and cards, those are all types of collectibles. Coins also go into that category, and I show a lot of those here on the channel. So a lot of you guys are probably familiar with my coins, but I'm going to show you guys just one out of the box. This is a 1922 piece dollar. It's just a very, very old US $1 coin, right? So these are all different types of collectibles you can get into, and they all have different pros and cons, right? So what makes a collectible valuable? This is very important if you are going into collectibles as a collector who just wants to build up a collection or as an investor. Um, Investors need to know the market so that they can actually find the right trends and sell for a profit, but collectors need to understand the market so that they can buy things at the right price, because you never want to buy something overpriced. No matter what you're doing, you always like, if you can buy at the right price and build your collection cheaper, that's always what you want to do. So understanding the market is very important. Here are some different things that can make a collectible valuable. One is demand. So like the demand that that specific collectible card has. So this Eevee GX card is very, very old and it's very, very rare. So the demand is that people want this card because it's good. Like in the game, Pokemon is a trading card game, and in the game, this Pokemon is good for the actual game, but also the artwork is cool and it's old, so it has some command. Yeah. So that kind of is the first one, is just supply and demand. It's a very basic thing. If there's a low amount of supply and more people want it than how many were made, then it basically will just go up in price because there's not enough of the card and a lot of buyers, right? And if you have very low demand, so no one wants to buy it, and you have a lot of the card will be worth like nothing because no one's willing to buy it. So yeah, that is just demand. The next thing is scarcity. Scarcity is very important for collectibles. It's how many of them were made. If there is a million of a card made and there are only let's just say 2 million people, that card isn't that rare and half of the people could theoretically own it if they wanted to. This is just theoretic numbers. But if a card is super rare and there are only 100 in the world out of 2 million people, let's just say, then not as many people can actually, um, not as many people can own it. So if not as many people can own a specific thing, it'll go up in price naturally. That is what scarcity does. This happens with everything. If there is a specific like grocery, like let's just say eggs at a store or something, and there are not enough eggs or not enough of something, things tend to go up. There is a specific example I'm thinking about, toilet paper. When everyone was going crazy for toilet paper, there was a scarce amount of toilet paper. Oh, what's up, Stefan? How are you? Yeah, so there was a scarce amount of toilet paper, and like the price just went up in general. The next thing is nostalgia slash age. So in collectibles and just in general, like this is good advice for all markets, right? Because most of the markets kind of act the same way. But nostalgia is basically just a feeling you have for a specific thing. So like Minecraft was made in like 2010 and I'm 15 years old, so Minecraft is an older game for me. So when I play Minecraft, I have good memories that are tied to Minecraft, right? And it's just like it gives me a good feeling. So like when people play like Mario, like when adults play Mario, it's nostalgic for them because that is from their generation and that is what they have a lot of memories tied to. So in collectibles, having a good, yeah, heck, even video games are collectible. Yeah, video games are collectible now because of nostalgia. That's why the video game market works how it does. But nostalgia basically is just that feeling that's tied to something. That's sometimes old, sometimes new, but it's just like, oh man, I remember that. So nostalgia is a big factor. Some people just buy a card because it's nostalgic to them, and some people buy a card because it's old. So the next thing on the list is age. This is just, it's very simple. However, like the older it is, the more expensive it'll be because it's really, really hard to find old things that are not beat up, not in bad condition, and the older the better. Generally is a good rule because they don't make old things anymore. Like this 1922 coin, they don't make this anymore. They made this in 1922. You can't get that in the 2000s unless you go out of your way to buy it. So age is a huge thing for collectibles. Okay, the next thing is this is only for some collectibles. I'm going to talk mainly about sports cards for this one, but performance and legacy, okay? So like the performance that this player or person has done. This is really important for sports cards in general because if you buy a player and they are not performing well in real life, the card is not going to do well and the card will not go up in value. That is just how it works. The worse the player, it will not perform well. And another thing is legacy. So like what they did in their life. So like I'm looking at a 1955 Jackie Robinson baseball card. Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier and allowed for more people to basically play in the MLB as a whole. And so he left a very good legacy. So his cards just go for more money. Yeah, Pokemon. I was about to talk about that. That's the good thing about Pokemon. They don't get injured or play. They don't play bad to make the value go down. Yeah, so sports cards it's really based on the legacy and the performance of the player, which can be really annoying because your cards can go down if the player is doing bad. And here is a tip, guys. If a player is like a GOAT or like a really, really good player, like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Muhammad Ali, like just really, really big household names are going to do better because their stats are already written on paper and they're done playing. So they can't go down from the player doing bad. Yeah. The next one is characters popularity. So I collect Funko Pops, which are like these figures, and I also collect Pokemon cards. Some specific Pokemon cards or characters are going to be worth more money because they are popular, right? So we're talking about popularity here. So for those who don't collect Pokemon, Eevee and Pikachu are like the mascots of the game. And all of the Eevee and Pikachu cards go for a lot of money. It's just because they are popular. Same with Funko Pops. Like if you get this guy, his name is Freddy Funko. He's like the mascot. If you buy any of his stuff, that's gonna be valuable because he is the character. So some collectible items go better, like they do better in price because of the character and the popularity of that character. The next thing that is very important in collectibles, like I'm just giving you guys a whole collectible lesson kind of here. But a very important thing, this is with all collectibles, including coins, cards, Funko Pops, it's everything. It's condition and grade, okay? If you have a card that is very, very nice, it's not bad centering, nothing like that, it looks really good, it's going to be more expensive. In sports cards and Pokemon cards, you can grade them 1 through 10. It costs some money to do that, but basically what they do is they look at the card and basically grade it on a scale of 1 to 10 to see how perfect the card is. And this is a 10, so this is a perfect card, meaning there's no scratches on it. It's centered perfectly. There's no like issues on the face of the card, right? Having something graded or in good condition is important because people want the best of the best. Collectors don't want something that looks really, really bad. They don't want something that's like destroyed or you can't see the face. They want something really, really nice. So the higher the grade, this is just like a typical thing. The higher the grade, the more expensive the collectible. So if you're buying like a low grade thing, it's going to be cheaper. And sometimes all you can afford is the lower grade item. But if you have the choice, get higher grade every single time. Because when it comes to reselling that item in the future or needing to get rid of it, you'll get more money for things in a higher grade. And it's very just important. The last factor in like what makes collectibles valuable is exclusiveness or like I don't know what the word is, exclusivity. It's like whatever item is exclusive, right? So there's some items that you can only get at specific places or at a specific time. And those items tend to do better because you can only get them for limited time or at a certain place. So like I have Funko Pops. Here, I can just pull one off right here. I have a Jackie Robinson, and this Funko Pop, you can only get it at Walmart. Nowhere else. This goes for like 30 bucks ish. It's not that expensive, but it does help the value that you can only get it at Walmart. And that's a good rule of thumb. If it's exclusive or you can only get it somewhere and it's limited edition, that's going to help the value a lot and make it more valuable in general. Okay, these are just general speaking, like this. There's some exceptions, of course, but this is in general going to help you a lot more. Sorry if I'm going over like a ton of information in like one video. I'm gonna try to like edit this out up into a long form video and some shorts to make it like more digestible, but I'm trying to get through everything so that you guys like this is basically a boot camp to collecting, but mainly investing in collectibles, if that makes sense. The difference in between collecting and investing is this. Investing, you are trying to make money. Collecting, you are just trying to have fun and build your own personal collection. I am kind of a mix of both. I'm like right in the middle. I'm a collector slash investor. I try to like sell my stuff and like make a lot of money if I can, but if I can't, then I'm just here to build my collection. Um, Here are a couple risks of investing in collectibles. Some of the biggest ones are fakes. So many people fake things, okay? Like you need to be very careful of buying fakes in any collectible market. That could be coins, that could be anything. But fakes are a big issue nowadays. I'm not sure why that is, but like people will fake an item if you're paying a good amount for it. So you got to be careful. One way to prevent fakes is having graded stuff. You grade it by a professional. So like there are a couple professionals, like professional companies that grade things really well and that have a very good rep- reputation amongst collectors. So like PSA for cards is very good. What I would recommend is starting with a set amount of money, say 100, and then buy stuff with that 100 and sell it and then keep your 100 you made and use the rest to keep profiting. Yeah, that is a good idea. Make a set amount and then basically use the amount to keep on building your collection. eBay doesn't do a good job on authenticating PSA slabs. People always get away with faking PSA slab cards. Yeah, but PSA is pretty It's pretty trustworthy. You can tell if it's a fake slab if you've been around for a long time. Another big thing is just research, like knowing what you're looking for and knowing the market. And that'll happen with experience. Like as you do this, there's going to be a lot of mistakes, right? Like in investing, you're going to make a mistake, but hopefully you're going to learn from that mistake and it's going to make things a lot better. Also, if you guys are wondering where I've been, I have been working a lot on my channel Ren Time, which is my sports and life channel. I also talk a lot about collectibles on Ren Time. Like, I talk about all my cards and all of that stuff on Ren Time. I never really bring that aspect to this channel, but I decided to do it today so that I could share like what I think about collectibles on the finance side of it, you know? Because the finance side is different than the collecting side. Um, Another risk of investing in collectibles is collectibles are very volatile. You can lose a lot of money and you can make a lot of money. I feel like in all investing, like all assets, I feel like. Yeah, also don't buy around hype. During COVID, all Pokemon was up, and a card that cost $1,000 then is now worth $200 to $300. That is true. Don't buy into hype. That is that is a definite thing for collectibles. But what I was going to say was collectibles are very volatile. It's like cryptocurrency. That's like the closest I could relate like as far as investing goes. Collectibles one day could be at $500 and the next be at like 400, 300. It's very volatile, so if you're scared of losing money, I don't think this is the best first investment for people. And also, I think if you're not an actual collector and you don't enjoy the market, I do not think you should be buying collectibles because you have to understand the price of them. You have to understand who wants what. You have to understand like what is going on in the market. You can't just go and buy a bunch of stuff and expect to make money. That's the issue with collectibles. A lot of people go into it and they're like, we don't know anything about what we're doing. We're just buying it because it looks cool and it's rare. But if you don't understand collectibles, you're really setting yourself up for failure. And that's the thing with all investing platforms and all type of investing. Research is key, guys. You can't jump into collectibles with no experience. You have to know what you're doing. That's why whenever I receive any pop figures for free, I flip them quick for a profit because I'm scared the value will drop. Ah, okay. So the next thing is after volatility is trends, okay? This is a huge risk. A lot of like collectibles will be trending super high and they'll be like super expensive because it's a new set or a new release. But then you'll buy it and 5 days, 2 weeks later, that price will just drop. It'll just drop. And that is mainly because there is a lot of hype around collectibles. Like when something new drops and there's something new for the collectors to buy, they all flood in and then the price always drops, I feel like. So don't buy into hype and be careful with the trends you are following. Some trends are good, like vintage sports cards are always going to go up over time because the super old base set stuff usually goes up because it's just older and people usually have a good legacy and they have nostalgia. Same with Pokemon. If you buy the base set Charizard or like a really really old card of Pokemon, most of the time it'll just slowly rise. But if you buy like the more modern stuff, you can get trapped really easily with something being super super popular and then it just drops. It just drops out of nowhere. And so you have to be very careful with that. Also, this is very important. You have to buy collectibles that have history, okay? There was a collectible called Beanie Boos. If you guys don't know about them, it's basically like a stuffed animal with really, really cute eyes. I don't remember when exactly it was. It was before my lifetime. But Beanie Boos were very, very popular, very, very expensive collectibles. Some of them were going for in the thousands of dollars, and people thought they would never crash or nothing would ever happen to Beanie Boos. Well, you look at Beanie Boos now, they're worth nothing. They went from literally this high point to nothing. And collectibles, it is all possible for collectibles. That could happen to any of your collectibles. The floor could fall out at any point. So you have to look for collectibles that have a history. Um, I really, really like Pokemon cards and baseball cards. And the reason I love them is because they have been around for such a long time. Pokemon is now going into its second or third generation of collectors or like kids who buy it. And baseball cards have gone through about 5 generations of collectors, which gives it a lot of history so that we know that that floor will not just fall off. But if you buy something new like MetaZoo or Squishmallow cards or Fortnite trading cards, we don't know the history behind those yet. Those could drop at any point. They could be worth nothing. So be very, very careful with trends, guys. This is your it's a two edged sword basically. Your your trends can be extremely good and make you a ton of money, or your trends can really, really hurt you and mess you up. So it really, really comes down to researching the trends and knowing the history behind everything. um, Most of these don't really matter when it comes to just collecting. If you are a collector, go ahead, do whatever you want. You're probably just trying to build a collection and have fun with it. You don't really care about the money side, so it shouldn't affect you too much, and you're buying something you want to buy. But for investing, trends are going to be your main thing. Trends are going to make you a ton of money. It's trends are make it or break it for investors, okay? Trends are make it or break it. Another thing I do got to say that I am confident in is, guys, if you are investing, try to buy something that you like, because one more risk of investing in collectibles is liquidity. Sometimes it's hard to liquidate something. Like, you get a collectible and you're so excited. Um, I have one very, very interesting question. If the U.S. Mint in San Francisco closes, does it mean that the U.S. Mint sets and coins minted by San Francisco, I've been hearing in YouTube. So like, if it's closing, will those be collectible? Yeah, if the mint closes down in like 100 years, those will be very collectible. But I don't see them being super, super, extremely collectible right off the bat. So anyway, it is very much up to you how you want to do this, but liquidity is very hard sometimes. So sometimes you'll buy a card that you wanted to sell. I actually bought this just to sell, and I haven't found a buyer for it yet. And it's a very nice card, and I like the player who's on the card, like Sauce Gardner. He's one of my favorite NFL players. So I actually do like him. And so if I'm not able to sell the card, this will go into my personal collection and I will just keep it. But if you don't like what you're buying, sometimes you'll just be stuck with a bunch of stuff all over your house, or like a bunch of storage, or a bunch of products, because sometimes they don't sell the way you want them to sell for. I paid 15 for this. It's worth like 50, I think. I'd probably be willing to sell it for 45, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I like this Sauce Gardner a lot. But I also don't really want to sell items. I kind of like to trade them more, because I'm a collector myself. So I like to trade assets for assets, if that makes sense. But yeah, basically knowing where you're at, and another thing is knowing what level you're on, because I explained the 3 levels of collecting. If you are at level 3 and you don't want to sell anything, then don't try to invest in collectibles. The reason is you'll be stuck with them forever and you will never sell them, so you'll never get your money back. If you are just buying a collectible, if you are a level 1 collector and you are just buying a collectible to sell, this happens a lot. You would be surprised. If you are actually a collector and like collecting, sometimes you'll buy a collectible just to sell, and then you'll never end up selling it. Like, you'll just keep it in your collection. And that's what happened with this card right here. This is a PSA 9 Jamar Chase. It is very, very shiny. I bought it for 10 bucks, and I was going to try to sell it. And guess what happened? I fell in love with the card once it got to my house, and I've never sold it, and it's just been in my collection. So theoretically, if I'm thinking about that financially, I lost 10 bucks because I didn't sell the card, you know? And so it just stayed in my collection. So sometimes you'll fall in love with that thing, and you'll go from a level 1 where you just bought it to sell to a level 2 where you're like, I'm only going to sell this if I get something better. So I think as a investor, I would not at level 3, you are not an investor, okay? At level 3, you are a collector. At level 2, you are a mix of an investor and a collector, right? Level 2 means you're keeping stuff for yourself, but you're also willing to sell it, okay? So that's where level 2 is. Level 1 is you are an investor. I am 100% a level 2 collector. I love collecting, like I really enjoy it, and I have a couple items that I am never going to sell, right? But I also have a lot of items that at the right time for the right price I'd be willing to sell. And that is something you really need to evaluate before you start collecting, because it can become hoarding really fast where you just never ever sell anything, but it also can become an addiction where you spend a lot of money. Like I've spent a good amount of money, like probably 2 grand on collectibles or like collecting in general, and it financially can become a cash pit if you're not careful. So I would just watch out for that mainly. So I'll just show you guys like some of my different tiers of investments, right? So this is not an investment right here. This is a Squints and Wendy Peppercorn signed Funko Pop, right? It's signed by Squints and Wendy Peppercorn, the actors for both. I am never selling this thing. This thing is like my pride and joy in my collection. I bought this for about $300, I think. It is really, really hard to find a Wendy Peppercorn Funko Pop, and it is really hard for her to sign. The actor for Wendy Peppercorn is Marley Shelton, and she is in, what is she in? She is in Scream, and she is also in, so she's in all the Screams, and she's also in The Sandlot. And she does not sign a lot, so that is very, very rare, and that's something that I do not want to sell, right? We've got some tier 2, emotional attachments to your collection can hurt your finances, though it's always good to consider if you want to liquidate in the future. Exactly. Being at a level 3 is not necessarily healthy, I'd say. The best level to be is level 2, and if you actually are very disciplined, staying at a level 1 is, if you want to be an investor and that's what you want to do, try to stay at a level 1 if you can. Level 2 is really nice. I like level 2 because I can enjoy my collection. Like, I really, really enjoy it. But I'm also willing to sell it when I want to buy a car, right? Because I'm 15 and at 16, I'm going to buy my first car. So I'm probably going to liquidate half of this. Like, a lot of my collection is going to be gone, which is really sad. But I'm going to say this Funko Pop right here is probably like a high level 2. Like, I'm going to sell everything in my power before I sell this. Like, I would sell a lot before I want to get rid of this one, if that makes sense. I would want to I would want to burn through other collectibles before this, for sure. Because I love this one. So yeah. Some level 2, like just investment wise, what I've been doing. I picked up a whole collection of Fortnite trading cards for $30. I priced it out. If people will actually buy the cards, this should be worth about $300 right here. This stack of Fortnite trading cards. Fortnite trading cards are a lot smaller, so this is like, it's like a more perspective investment, right? Like, speculative. Yeah, speculative. I'm speculating that these Fortnite cards will be worth a lot of money in the future because Fortnite is a big game. And Fortnite could have a lot of nostalgia for all of the younger generation, like my generation. A lot of kids play Fortnite. So I feel like once this generation are adults and we have more money, people might want Fortnite trading cards. So this is a speculative investment. This is a level 2 investment. I am not selling it right now because I just want to enjoy them in my collection for a little bit. And then once they get valuable, like once they go up in value, I will sell them. I'll show you a level 1 investment though. I invested in so coins for me are a level 1 investment, right? Because I'm gonna sell these ASAP. Like, I'm gonna sell them right when I can get my car. So these silver coins, they're kind of collectible, but they're just silver rounds. I'd say these are tier 1 for me. I would sell these
in a heartbeat. I don't have any emotional connection to these. Once I have the ability to sell them to buy a car, I will sell them. And I will not feel bad about it at all. Like, I will not feel bad about it. I'm actually excited to sell them, kind of, because I want to see my money. Like, I want to get my money back, you know? Um, so that is kind of the tiers, level 1 through 3. And that's, a like, potentially what investing in collectibles is like. So I am a collectible investor and also a stock trader and a silver stacker. But as far as collectibles go, 90% are probably tier 2. I have a few investment cards that I'm definitely going to sell. And then I have like maybe 3 tier 3 items. I try to stay away from emotional attachment to anything, cuz if you are too emotionally attached to your collectibles, that's where it can become a little dangerous financially and um emotionally, right? Like if something happened to something and it's just a collectible, but you get depressed over that at that point it's too much and it's like an addiction and you don't want that. So level 2 is where you want to be. If you're at level 3 though, don't feel guilty, because there are some items that some people just never want to sell. Like I have some coins that I got from my grandpa, and my grandpa passed away like 3 years ago, and those coins I'm not selling. Like they're not leaving my collection either way. I'm gonna try to pass those on. So yeah, that's kind of what I was going through. Those are all my bullet points. It's just basically it depends what level you're at in the within those mindset levels. That's what makes it an investment or collecting, right? Oh, my hat died, so let me just flip it backwards. There we go. So, if you have any questions for me, I can stay on for about 15 more minutes and we can just kind of talk. I'm going to be trying to make a lot more content, like a lot more videos for y'all, because I've been really bad at it recently. But one of the main reasons I haven't been here on Ren Stocks that much is because I'm focused on my other channel, Ren Time, because I am nearing 1,000 subscribers. I am at 900 30 subscribers right now. So I'm 70 subscribers away from actually being able to monetize that channel and make some extra money. And the more money I'm able to make, I am able to make more investments for this channel and also better content. And so, if you're not subscribed to Ren Time, it is spelled the same way as Ren Stocks, but it's spelled just Ren and then Time, and you could go subscribe over there to see more of my actual life and like what I do outside of investing. Um, it is kind of a weird time to stream. Normally, I would stream a little later, I feel like, but I think, yeah. Also, YouTube turned off my chat for some reason, which, come on, YouTube. This happens every single time, and it's so annoying because I'm trying to like get through a topic, but then YouTube just goes ahead and turns off my chat. So yeah, basically those were some of the collectibles I had, and that it's just a stream of like, is it worth it to invest in collectibles? Like, should you do it? And my answer after all of that talking is yes. If you really are passionate about collectibles, I would become a collectible investor. If you don't care and you just want money, I would stick to stock trading and cryptocurrency, because you can make a ton of money in collectibles, like a lot, but you have to be very driven, and you have to be actually involved in the market. If you are a new collector and you are just trying to get involved in the market to have fun, what I would suggest doing is setting yourself a budget, maybe like $100, $50, whatever that may be, and just buy something that you like. So, like, if you're buying Funko Pops, just buy characters that you like. If you're buying Pokemon cards, just find a specific Pokemon who you enjoy and just buy that. Because the people who don't really enjoy it, they get weeded out eventually because they don't want to spend that much money. The people who genuinely enjoy collecting are going to keep doing it. So, for those new collectors, just dip your toe in and see where you're at. And then after that, you can go all in. You can do whatever you want. This is not financial advice. I'm just a kid talking about my opinions on investing in general. But yeah, I feel like the answer to investing in collectibles is yes. It is very fun. It is a very good journey, and it is very like it's fun, and everyone is so nice, and like you get to talk to a lot of people and like share what you like to do with others. And if you're investing in it, you're usually gonna hold on to your inventory for a little while, so you have to actually enjoy what you're doing. Because if you're just holding on to a bunch of crap, you won't like it, and it won't be enjoyable, and you're not gonna make it. You're not gonna make enough. You're not gonna make as much money. So yeah, there's my collection, just like a pen over. I've been working on this for like 6 years. I don't have like any inventory right now because I'm not trying to sell any of this until I can get a car, right? But that top Sandlot collection, you can see Benny, Ham, Smalls, and the Beast. Those ones are like probably closer to tier 3. I'm not going to try to sell those soon. And then we got some autographed Funko Pops and stuff. This one was signed by the voice actor for Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender. For the right price, I'd be willing to sell that, but I don't want to sell like any of these big ticket items until I have a perfect plan in mind of what I'm going to do. So like I don't like to sell anything until I know for a fact what I'm going to do. So like if I'm going to buy a car or if I'm going to buy real estate or something, I will let go of any of these items to do that, but I'm not going to sell just to have extra cash on hand because I don't want cash on hand. I would much rather have it in something, either growing or having the potential to grow, if that makes sense. So collectibles are my huge secret hobby that I don't usually talk about here on the channel. But if you like collectible content, I do talk about it a lot more on Ren Time, and I also talk about coins like a lot on the channel. Like coins are a main thing on Ren stocks that we talk about pretty consistently. So if you guys like coin content, please subscribe too, because I got a lot of coin content. Like I talk about precious metals such as gold, silver, and platinum. This is a gold 1/10th ounce American Eagle. Very cool. I'm a little bummed my chat got turned off because there's 4 people here, but we can't chat. That's really bugging me. But yeah, that's pretty much going to wrap it up because no one can ask me questions because the chat got turned off. But I'll see you guys all in the next stream. And if you are wanting to see more of me, please subscribe and ring that notification bell so you don't miss any videos. But I'll see you all on